Okay, so our project is addressed to people from the lower middle class. So right from the start, one of our main goals was to create affordable and flexible houses, meaning that they can be used by a variety of people, starting from students, but also couples, families. And so, as we'll see, we have houses of different dimensions, like one-room apartments, but also apartments that can be for up to 6 or even 7 people. And we started at first by analyzing the urban surroundings. So we tried to focus especially on those buildings that, for whatever reason, could attract more people, like, for example, the mosque for religious reasons, but also the kindergarten or the bus station, because we wanted to make them easily accessible. And then we proceeded by creating the entrances of the entrances to the site and connecting them, locating so those that are now our main streets. These streets divide our site in different parts that we decided to call aisles. Thus, that's where ISLES KAMPUNG comes from. And these little aisles, we started to design them by putting the residential buildings along the streets. And then we tried to rotate, move, stagger them in order to obtain more dynamic space, and also to divide the big central green area in little spaces. And while creating these aisles, one of our main reasons to put that green space at the center was because we wanted to encourage community lifestyle, since we know that it's a very common thing already in Indonesia. And we also wanted to, we did not want to concentrate all the public space in one part of the site and all the residential space in the other, so we tried to mix them into these aisles. And here in the master plan, we can see so that the urban environment is composed all by these little aisles, which, as we'll see better in the next slide, are all have a public and residential and private function. We can go on.
As my colleague said in this excerpt, we can see how public and private function coexist and how they are related. We designed mixed clusters that include different apartments, but also craft workshop on the ground floor. These spaces can be intended also for shops, restaurants, or other public services according to the need of the users. In some instances, like this, the gardens of different apartments confine, making it possible to remove the fence between them and create a private shared green space. But there are also some spaces which only have a public function, like this building at the top of the excerpt. And also the green square visible also in the section and in the image above them. Then the axonometry and the section also show how we solved the different heights in the site. Here we analyzed more in depth the standard clusters, one of the 4 types that we designed. The concept show a regular structure in beams and pillars where we insert the different types of apartments. In our standard cluster, we have a craft shop, a smaller apartment, and a bigger one on the first floor. Then we see the red part. The red part of the plan show that is possible an expansion of the house. That is, like my colleague said, a flexible house. And then we can see an exploded axonometric to section and the elevation of the standard cluster, and also two images of interior of the house. In the living of the house, there is a wide glass door which is covered by a perforated brick facade that filter light and wind when the windows is open.
And in this last slide, we can see the structure that we chose, which is in reinforced concrete pillars and beams. And we also can see that we decided to elevate the house in order to prevent damage to our cluster and to allow a better drainage of water. And we also can see the materials which we chose, which are the bricks for the facade, but also bamboo wood for the planking of the workshop. And overall, we try to keep it simple, but to use materials that are easily that can easily be found in Indonesia. So bamboo and plaster, which are common. I think this is all, but if you have questions.